Brad Yasar of the Yasar Corporation is one of the most respected angel investors in California. He is interested in cutting-edge technologies, which includes the technology he developed himself. He sold that company at age 15. Brad's going to tell us about investing today, how for him it's not just about the money, it's about reassessing where true value lies. Welcome back to Biz 101, Brad.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, we learned all about your, let's call it young career as an entrepreneur. When a guy starts at age 9 and exits at age 15.
There's not much else to do.
Exactly. I was riding a Dickie D ice cream bike and making $10 a day at age 14, and you were changing the world. So it's
I
all
wouldn't go that far.
entrepreneurship.
We were both entrepreneurs.
We were. So now we're both angel investors. And in my case, I learned about angel investing not until I was, I guess, in my late 40s when I went to an angel investing meeting. I never even heard of it before. Today, of course, we have shows on television like Shark Tank, and it's become the hot thing. Tell us about how you got into angel investing and why.
So I've always been interested in financial markets. That's what my dad used to do. And I bought my first Microsoft stock when it became public and available to the general public. And
you were in Microsoft when it IPO'd?
Afterwards.
Okay.
Afterwards. I wish I was in it before the IPO, but so I've always dabbled a little bit in trading and studied some of it because there was always that thought in my head that one day I could maybe go into banking and finance, and so I wanted to understand how that works. Fast forward to the stock market crash of 2008, my consulting business lost all of its pipeline. I had a choice to make, and I wanted to go back to being an entrepreneur. I thought hard and long for 3 months. Zero brilliant ideas from this mind.
Oh, you thought, I'm gonna create the next big thing.
Yeah, I didn't have anything that I felt strongly about that I wanted to create and that I thought would be meaningful. And I was talking to my wife, who has been an amazing support in every adventure we take together. And she told me, instead of trying to start something of your own, why don't you help out others who may need your expertise or who may need investments? So I said, okay, that sounds like something I could do. And just like you, I went to an angel group meeting. I believe it was a lava meeting or something like that in Southern California. And I was fascinated because there was this group of people who were willing to bet their hard-earned savings on strangers after a 15-minute pitch. And I said, okay, I can do that. I mean, I have a analytic background with an economics degree. I understand the markets. I understand certain industries much better than others. Why don't I try to do that? And fast forward 7 years, I have a nice little portfolio now, and I had an IPO last year, had a couple exits, and it's been a very interesting journey. But more importantly, it's allowed me to have the pulse of the market without having to be on the cutting edge of the technology myself. Now I can just get involved with the projects that I'm passionate about and still learn the new technology, still know about what's up and coming, and still be a part of that change.
You're now invested in 40 to say 55, 60 companies, somewhere along that line. What is happening right now? What would you recommend to angel investors right now? What are the trends that are happening?
What I would say they should do is be careful about the hype. Don't just start angel investing because you see Shark Tank and you hear about Dollar Shave Club, or you see the valuation of Uber, and everything that makes it to the media is already an outlier.
Right.
So if you're going to invest, do your homework. Develop a philosophy around where your expertise is and where you can bring value more than just an investment. And take that and apply that to the startup ecosystem that's growing exponentially in Southern California. It's growing up here.
Oh, it's growing everywhere.
It's everywhere now because people are realizing, especially the newer generations, they don't want to be a cog in the system of these big conglomerates. They want to have some creative control over their lives, and professional and otherwise, and what they do. So I'd say if as an angel investor, if you align your goals and experience with your portfolio, you're going to see better results.
So in real estate, there's a saying, location, location, location. In angel investing or small companies, private investments, working with entrepreneurs, what would be the saying?
Timing, timing, timing. If you get in at the right valuation, at the right time, even a mediocre success can have a very large return. If you get in at the wrong time, and timing only depends solely on the individual making the investment or the group. Your risk tolerance, your war chest, I mean, how much you have available to invest is a big factor in at what stage you can go in and how many follow-on rounds you can continue to keep investing. But if you time it right and get in with the right company at the right time, sky is the limit.
Speaking of timing, we're out of it right now. But thank you so much, Brad Yasar. Lots of wonderful insights, and thanks for coming on Biz One-on-One.
Up next, Sheri Simson of Keenfit.
You think you know The Brick? Sure, everyone knows The Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. It's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.
Wonder lives in you. It's the moments that capture you and make you feel alive, leaving you breathless, wanting more. Feed your imagination, because some things are worth dreaming about, and some things are worth living. Rediscover your one.
Shoveling snow in January and February is hard work. That's why there's Eden. Eden, the leader in on-demand cold weather snow removal and warm weather lawn care, makes it easy to request a professional and fully insured contractor to remove your snow right from your smartphone. Eden is designed for busy professionals, people with aging parents or physical limitations, snowbirds, and of course, people who just hate shoveling. Download the Eden app in the iTunes or Google Play Store today and enjoy 15% off your first job by using the promo code EdenTV.
Every time I come in, Chris always follows up with me, always asks me how my service was, if there's anything that they could have done better. He makes me feel really important.
You're not going to get treated better. The work done was awesome, but I thought that the personal touch and the service, Chris was always top-notch.
We've met new employees, and if I go back the next time, they know who we are. Whenever I take our cars in, I feel like I'm someone special. They treat me extremely well.
Sheri Simpson's goal is to raise the fitness level of North America by starting a walking revolution. She, like many, once believed that she could never get overweight and out of shape until it happened to her. She'll share her story about how she discovered the European fitness secret of pole walking and how she has turned that into a business, Keenfit, that she's been running for over 13 years. Welcome to the show, Sheri.
Nice to be here.
Now, is it true that you were the first woman on the cover of Builder Architect?
Yes.
While you were 9 months pregnant?
Yes.
There's got to be a story there.
There is a story there. Yes, I have 3 years of architecture, And originally, though, I started with just sort of more design business, and I got a little tired of the money I was making and a little frustrated with the way things were turning out on site. So I decided to start my own construction company and became the builder. So I buy the material, I design it, and go take it right to the end. And I get this phone call. I've been doing that for almost 17 years, and I get this call that says, "We've been following your career, and we'd like to put you on the cover of Builder Architect." And
wow!
Yeah, and they hadn't had a female on the cover for over 15 years. So I was the first female. So he arrives, we're at Starbucks, and he hadn't met me yet. We were having the interview, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, you're pregnant." And I said, "Yep, I'm in the building business, you know." So building a baby, and yeah, it was something else. I was pretty proud of that. So they did it? Yeah, we did it. And I was actually teasing, because remember the naked Demi Moore Vanity Fair cover?
Yeah.
And I said, "Look, I've arranged for no one to be around. The heaters are on, and I thought I'd do the naked Demi Moore. I'd wear a work belt, okay? Have my hands here, hard hat, okay?" And he looks at his eyes are like this, and he's like, and I said, "See you tomorrow, bye." I don't think he slept. And the only thing I'm upset about is I didn't do it. It's just a very ordinary picture of me standing there, and you can't even tell I was pregnant. But anyway.
Well, so you're coming into this business after having a whole other very successful career. Yeah. So Sheri, we want to hear about this new business, which started with you not wanting to take any naked pictures of yourself at that point.
Actually, that is a lot to do with it. I always swore I would never be one of those women that would get out of shape and overweight. As a matter of fact, I was quite appalled by those people. I thought, oh, come on. I will never let that happen, because I was always quite fit as a youth. But it ended up, once I got pregnant with my first, I put on 40 to 50 pounds. And I lost a bit, but I kept 10. Then the next child kind of kept 10. And the next one kept 10. So yeah, ended up being actually about a good 50 pounds overweight consistently I struggled with it for almost 10 years.
Wow.
So what happened is we were flying over to Denmark. My husband's Danish. And in the seat pocket in front of me, I read this article about the cross-country ski Olympic coaches of the cross-country ski teams, the Olympic coaches. They'd send their athletes out in the off-season, and they had them biking, running, swimming, and weight training. But regardless of how much of all those activities they had them doing, they would always enter the season in less shape than they left. And the coaches were kind of going, "This isn't working. We're going to have to follow the snow to keep our athletes fit." So what happened is they thought the snow was what was keeping them fit, but it wasn't. It was the total body motion that they go through.
Right.
So it wasn't until the cross-country ski coaches said, "Let's take these poles and we'll take them to dry land." And they had them hiking, walking, and running with the poles. So I read this article, and I'm kind of like, well, that sounds kind of interesting, because I was walking, and I've never really have been a gym person, shall we say. 2 more of the weights wasn't my thing. And so, 3 days later, isn't it interesting how you've never heard of something, and then suddenly it kind of shows up in your life? Well, 3 days later, my mother-in-law got a pair of poles for Christmas. I have to say, I brought my mother-in-law's poles home. I lost 30 pounds in 6 months, and then I lost another 50 6 months after that.
Wow. So the poles are amazing.
Yeah.
And the business, Keenfit, is actually a lot more than just making the poles and selling them.
Oh, it's huge. I truly emotionally am touched. Every week I almost cry, actually, because someone has thanked me for changing their lives.
So you gave up the construction business entirely?
Yeah, there was an overlap.
So there's some kids in between, some having kids in there.
Yeah.
And so you're not having any fun at all, I can tell.
I love what I do.
So when you say, what do? You redesigned or created your own design.
For my walking
Are you
poles,
manufacturing them?
Yes, and I manufacture them.
And you're marketing them?
Yeah, and I have
and
videos.
Distributing them and selling them.
Plus, I have certified instructors across Canada and the United States that I do have a certification program.
Wow.
And and I speak. I love to speak, and like I said, my goal is to raise the fitness level of North America, and I want to do it by creating a walking revolution.
You're obviously having fun. You're making a big difference in people's lives. 13 years in, you've written a book.
Yes, because you know why? I talk to people and get them pretty excited. I'm a little bit of a motivator, I am, and people want what I have. I want whatever she's having. So but I realized that I'd run into the person shortly after, and they'd be throwing, I'm not walking, or I'm not doing this, and they'd all have all these excuses. And so I've coined the word exercuses. So
excuses.
Yes.
Got it.
exercise excuses, and I call it Exercuse. I've actually coined and trademarked the word. And my book is called Stop the Exercuses, Win at the Exercise Excuse Game.
Cool.
And what's your excuse?
I don't want to get into that right now.
Everybody has them. And one of my main chapters in the book is called The Irony of the Excuse. Okay?
Exactly.
And what that is the first one I always hear from people is, I'm just way too busy. If you were as busy as me, you couldn't do it either. I just don't have the time. Too busy. The next one is, I'm so tired. Oh gosh, I can barely get up and move around. I'm so tired. I just don't have any energy. I'll do it when I have more energy. The next one is, I'm so stressed. If I do anything else, I'll either explode or implode. And then the next one on top of that is, I hurt somewhere, which is very common. Someone hurts. So the irony of the excuse is, well, if you hurt somewhere and there's something wrong with you, I don't know a doctor today that says, don't move.
Right.
Sit down, lay down, don't move. You'll be better in no time. And if he does tell you that, you better get a new doctor.
Get a new doctor, yeah.
And then the next one about stress, it's a scientific fact they've proven we handle stress better when we exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And then tired, how do you feel after you exercise?
Great.
Yeah,
Invigorated.
Exactly. Yeah. More people say I have more energy. If anything, they say, why don't I do this more often?
So how does it create more time for me? I'm interested in this one.
Well, wait, this is my last one. So if you're not hurting, you're handling stress better, okay, you have more energy. What do you have more of?
Time.
You have more time.
I wish we had more time.
I know.
We might have to get you back on Biz one-on-one once that book comes out.
I'll share a lot more.
Thank you so much, Sheri. Great having you on the show.
To learn more, visit biz1on1.tv.
You think you know The Brick? Sure, everyone knows The Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. It's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.
Wonder lives in you. It's the moments that capture you and make you feel alive, leaving you breathless, wanting more. Feed your imagination, because some things are worth dreaming about, and some things are worth living. Rediscover your one.
Shoveling snow in January and February is hard work. That's why there's Eden. Eden, the leader in on-demand cold weather snow removal and warm weather lawn care, makes it easy to request a professional and fully insured contractor to remove your snow right from your smartphone. Eden is designed for busy professionals, people with aging parents or physical limitations, snowbirds, and of course, people who just hate shoveling. Download the Eden app in the iTunes or Google Play Store today and enjoy 15% off your first job by using the promo code EdenTV.
Peter, who's outside?
That guy? I stole him the chainsaw this morning.
Our next guest was once called the first player agent superstar. He is the most written and read about agent in the history of Canadian sport. His actions eventually led to the ousting, conviction, and incarceration of Canadian hockey czar Alan Eagleson on fraud and racketeering charges. That changed the course of professional hockey as we know it. Today, Rich Winter of WINTERSPORTS is going to talk about what he's up to now, and he'll share with us the ultimate definition of success in sports and in life. And Rich, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Randy.
I'm honored to call you a friend. We happen to be fairly close, so it's great to have you here. Rich, tell us briefly about the Alan Eagleson story. It's kind of old news these days, but some of these young hockey players that are doing so well, they are living a different life because of what happened with Alan Eagleson.
Oh, well, he
Alan had his hands in everything. He was partners with the owners. He really had complete control of the sport, including international hockey at one stage. And it was just really a group of American players more than anything else who enrolled the help of people like myself to stand up, and they decided there was about time for change. And so with their support, it's hard to imagine in this day of the multi-million-dollar athlete that we had 250 players at their own expense fly down to Florida and challenge their union leader, because hockey players aren't traditionally, they're pretty team-oriented. They're not really ones to challenge authority. And you think about that now and you think, wow. And, the players today owe those guys a debt of gratitude. They put a lot on the line for them.
Now, this program, Biz One-on-One, we talk to entrepreneurs, business owners, people at all different stages of the business life cycle. Are you a lawyer, a businessman, a hockey agent? What are you?
I would think at the end of the day, I'm a relationship expert. I think at the end of the day, life and business comes down to relationships, and it's no different whether you're visiting with the chief of a First Nations band, which I was doing earlier today, or dealing with the CEO of a major company, or dealing with an athlete. It's the relationship they have. People want to do business with people they enjoy spending time with. So it's investing in those relationships that ultimately are, I think, the best investments one will make in life.
And in the hockey world, you've become one of the most, I don't know whether you're the most successful, but you're probably the most famous agent, mainly in your early days because of your confrontational approach. And didn't you actually punch, or he punched you, Glenn Sather, one of the most iconic general managers?
Yeah, I guess it's funny when you think about it in life. At one point, Glenn did punch me. I deserved it, actually, because I kind of challenged him in front of his coaches, and that I was young and inexperienced, and that wasn't appropriate. I mean, he didn't have the right to punch me, but had the right to be very upset. And so Glenn is probably certainly is the only general manager that's ever punched me, who I've also told how much I love him, because I've learned over time that Glenn's a very loyal guy. He's reached the end of his career. We've had a lot of time to talk about the things that have come to pass, and I've really come to realize. I mean, that's an example of the relationship started a little rough, but it's worked out to be.
I mean, you were
one of the ones I cherish.
confrontational with him representing your players, right? And that was the same story with Alan Eagleson. I remember you being completely. You were whacked out of how upset you were about Alan Eagleson. And you came to me when we were both in our 20s, and I was starting my career, and you were doing you were going to be a hockey agent, and you're saying, I'm going to take down this Alan Eagleson guy. And I'm thinking, Ritch, this isn't how you're going to get in the door.
Well, I mean, it grew out of a small town background where you stood up to people who do the wrong thing, but I don't know. I find it astonishing. I did a couple of shows a few years ago in Toronto, and the producer wanted me to autograph a whole bunch of stuff. And I guess I was lucky not to realize how influential he really was, because Alan Eagleson out in Edmonton, or a little town I grew up outside of Calgary, he was a known commodity a little bit because he'd organized international hockey. But in Toronto, the guy was... he was the man.
So you've branched out from hockey, and I remember as a hockey agent and a lawyer, you were dabbling in other business ventures through your 20s and 30s. What do you, obviously you've been very successful as an agent. What are you up to outside of the hockey world, and what advice can you give to people, business owners that maybe are interested in doing something else, because that's what you're doing?
Well, I think I study a lot of behavioral science, and I think it's really interesting. There's a thing in your brain called the reticular activating system, and what it does is filter what you pay attention to. And I've learned over in life that if you load it with something, if you find a goal that you're passionate about, you'd be surprised how things unfold, because there's so many opportunities that pass us by because we weren't convinced that we could achieve that goal. And you talk to people like Mark Cuban and some others. Once you believe in something, you become passionate of something, and it's the belief. Once you believe it, you'll start noticing opportunities. Like, I remember I wanted to be a hockey agent when I was 12. That was like the greatest blessing in my life, because when a movie came to town, I thought, well, maybe I should join that because it's an entertainment. It might be close to sports, and it led to lots of things. Me being a stuntman at one point, me going to Los Angeles, me getting a job with a sports agency. But I would never have done that. So I think the best advice is really get a goal and focus on it.
What are you up to these days, Ritch? Like, what have you branched out into? What's the most interesting sort of business thing that you're working on?
Well, I'm working on, right now, one of the biggest, most pressing problems facing the country right now. 2,000 of the arenas, 2,000 to 3,000 arenas in the country are currently operating past their useful life expectancy. So if
An
we don't,
infrastructure issue.
if we don't solve this, we will become the hockey's equivalent of England in soccer. We will not have the players. Right now we're down to 15% of boys between the age of 8 and 16 playing hockey. And I'm concerned about it because what happened in the old days was that people came to Canada, came to a community, and we bonded together by playing hockey. You know, and our parents sat together in the stands. And we have a very migrant community, lots of immigrants coming here, lots of children who want to play and be Canadian. They want to be with their friends, and they can't afford to play our national pastime. And if we can't fix that, the chances of us fixing the kind of problems they're seeing manifest themselves in America, we're in trouble. And so we need a solution. And without getting into the details, that's one of my focuses right now.
Ritch Winter from a small community, an old buddy. Thanks for coming on the show, Ritch.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
Meet Andre. He's the founder of a new craft brewery. Andre has had early success with his company, but now he needs investors to help him grow his business and take it to the next level. This is where Front Funder comes in. You see, at Front Funder, we approach investing differently. We connect Andre to people like you and Mike, a craft beer enthusiast. By investing in Andre's company, Mike can continue to enjoy his craft beer while owning a piece of his favorite brewery. Then there's Kathy. She's a professional investor looking to diversify her portfolio. She also sees the potential for financial return in Andre's company. So Kathy invests through Front Funder. Front Funder enables you to support businesses you believe in. We screen all of our companies and perform an in-depth review, helping you make an informed investment decision. We make online investing simple and accessible to everyone. Select your favorite company, pay for your shares, and become an owner. It's that simple. An online investment experience from start to finish.
You think you know The Brick? Sure, everyone knows The Brick is the place for the guaranteed lowest prices on home furnishings. But do you know how we do it? Buying power, that's how. The Brick has over 200 locations across Canada, with over 7 million square feet of showrooms. That means we buy a lot of stuff from all over the world. And the more we buy, the more you save. The Brick. Saving you more. That's not just a slogan. Saving you more is our obsession.